Hey everyone, I'm going to give you my 5 storylines that I think you should consider from the last 7 days in the NBA, and we have to start with Russell Westbrook. For me, this guy is the MVP right now. Usually the MVP award in recent times has gone to the best player on the best team. The last MVP not to get his team to the conference finals was LeBron James back in 2009-10 with the Cavaliers. But Westbrook is making the Thunder relevant all on his own, and I don't think any other point guard, even Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, John Wall, whoever you want to take, could do what Westbrook is doing for the Thunder right now. 6 consecutive triple-doubles. Michael Jordan had 7 straight back in 1989, and the record is 9. Wilt Chamberlain set that back in 67-68, so Westbrook has a chance to obliterate that. 11 triple-doubles in 22 games, and his usage rate, 40% so far for the Thunder. That's basically when a possession ends with him shooting, drawing a foul, or turning the ball over. He is doing everything for this team. And the reason I think he is the MVP, and the definition of that, is making your team better while putting up incredible stats. I wrote an article about this, and if you want to go and read it, it's on Give Me Sport. Westbrook is making everyone better. Enes Kanter is taking 17 shots a game right now. And for a team that don't really have an outside shooter, it's key that they have their inside guys doing a lot of things. Steven Adams gave up a rebound the other night so Westbrook could grab it. Victor Oladipo from the Orlando Magic to the Thunder this offseason. He's already hit 49 3-pointers this season. His career high is 98. So he's going to obliterate that as well. Obliterate, I keep using that word too much. Against the Hawks the other night at Phillips Arena, which is the Atlanta home court, there were chances of MVP in the fourth quarter when Westbrook was shooting free throws. Yes, there's downsides. Westbrook is not a great shooter, he's a great scorer, there is a difference there. He turns the ball over a lot, 5.7 turnovers a game right now. He had 10 against the Pelicans in a recent game. That's a quadruple double. But you cannot tell me there is more value in any other player in this league right now. James Harden might end the season leading the NBA in points and assists. Nate Archibald, the last guy to do that. But Harden has got a very superior set of guys around him. Russell Westbrook, none of his teammates have ever made an All-Star game. None of his teammates have ever averaged 18 points a game. He's doing something we've never seen before. Michael Jordan compared his ferocity to his own game. Well, Jordan wasn't very good with his teammates, and he certainly wouldn't have put up with this current Thunder team. Westbrook doesn't complain, gets on with the job. MVP right now for me. I don't know about you, but I love watching the Warriors toy with an opponent, and it happened against Indiana. Sadly, they're coming to London in January, so, there's give and take here. But Klay Thompson scored 60 points in 29 minutes against Indiana. He had the ball for 90 seconds total. 46 touches, 60 points. Steph Curry on the bench, going crazy. When Klay gets into a rhythm, he has the sweetest shot out there. The form, the technique, the way he shoots the ball, he comes off screens. It's just a testament to how hard he works. Coming off picks, he's very underrated at moving off the ball, and he got those early layups going against Indiana, and when he makes early shots, he's going to go off. And the Warriors, every time someone on that team gets hot, they constantly feed them until they don't, and Klay just kept playing. And he checked out the game with 1 minute and 22 seconds left in the third quarter. Steve Kerr, rest his guys. If the Warriors are blowing a team out, which they do often, they had 80 points in the first half again on this day. Steve Kerr will take you out. Klay could have, and I think would have, excuse the hot take, but he probably would have beaten Kobe's 81 points. He was on pace to do that. The lack of touches that he had and the amount of points he scored, incredible. That's the first 40-point first half since 2003. Now the Warriors right now are averaging 120.2 points per game. The last team to average 120 points per game over a whole season, well, it's another team that are coming to London in January. The Denver Nuggets back in 1984 and 85. But I am so happy personally, even though Klay doesn't care what I think, that he got it going tonight, and it just proves and shuts down the trade talk. I hate this trade talk. It shouldn't even be there. I'm sure he's ignoring it. I know that Steve Kerr probably will be trying to say to Klay, look, this is how you're going to fit into our system all year, because there's going to be outside talk. Kevin Durant, this is Kevin Durant and Steph Curry's team right now. But the reason you brought Durant in is to go along with Klay Thompson. He's a key part, an integral part of that Warriors team. Monta Ellis, by the way, was someone that the Warriors decided not to go with, and Klay instead was their guy. Ellis was on this Indiana team. I think they proved correct in keeping Klay Thompson. Unbelievable performance, and we're probably going to see Curry or Klay break that 81-point barrier soon. We've already seen Curry score 13 threes in a game this season. Record breakers. Sticking with the Warriors and something I didn't think I'd be talking about, marijuana. I'm not an expert on this, guys, just so you know, and I've made that Christmas tree behind me, so I could not do that with any marijuana in my system. Anyway, Steve Kerr said to Monty Paul of CSM Bay Area on a podcast last week that he smoked medicinal marijuana a couple of times because he was recovering from back surgery, and we know how much Steve Kerr had trouble with that. He missed 4 months last season, and Luke Walton had to take charge. Listen here, all the headlines were saying Kerr smokes pot. This is ridiculous. The NBA, first of all, do things better than the NFL. So in the NBA, if you're caught for recreational use of marijuana, you will go into their marijuana program. So there's education with that. Second time round, you'll be fined $25,000. Third time round, you'll get a 5-game suspension, and nothing hurts more for players than missing games. And every time after that, you're just missing 5 games. In the NFL, if you're caught for a second time, you are fined 10 games. I say fined, suspended. And it's a 16-game season. That's most of the season gone. But what the NBA and the Players Association do need to do, and I'm glad Steve Kerr made this honest opinion about marijuana, is the medicinal use of it. In 27 states in America, medicinal marijuana is legal. In 7 states, recreationally, it's legal too. But what the Players Association and the NBA do have to consider is what Steve Kerr is trying to say here. Education has to overwhelm perception. Look, you don't want your league to be perceived as, oh, a load of guys smoking pot, but this is not what we're talking about here. Players get hurt, they're handed prescriptions, and they take them, and there's risk in terms of addiction, long-term health problems, and I think that's what Kerr is trying to address right now. And look at American commercials. All of these prescriptions that you can get, and they look great, and they all work, and at the end there's all these warnings, oh, this could kill you. I think we have to understand the advantages and the benefits of this over some of the prescribed drugs that especially NFL players get on a weekly basis. Number 4 on my list of NBA topics we need to consider in the last 7 days. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Raptors for the 3rd time this season. Before that, which was when it got a little bit interesting, they lost 3 in a row. Highlighted by the game in Chicago when LeBron James had to pay up his bet with D-Wade from the World Series. Obviously LeBron from Ohio and D-Wade from Chicago. The Cubs beat the Indians in 7 games. LeBron comes to the arena in Chicago fully dressed in Chicago Cubs uniform. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But you know what? This 3-game losing streak was not a disaster. This was not an issue. Yes, Tyronn Lue never lost 3 games in a row before. The Cavs hadn't lost 3 games in a row for a year. But consider this. The Cavaliers are bored. They're completely bored. The Eastern Conference, or at least the rest of the Eastern Conference, are playing in an inferior league to Cleveland. Boston was the sexy pick, the trendy pick at the start of the season, but they are way too reliant on Isaiah Thomas, and come playoff time, relying on a 5'8" point guard? No offense to him, great player, not going to get it done. Atlanta started really well, actually gave Cleveland their first loss of the season, but then they lost 6 in a row. They're trending down right now. Al Horford's out, Dwight Howard's in. It looked okay to begin with, not so much now. Then you have teams like Charlotte, Chicago, Detroit. Who's going to trouble the Cavs? It's so hard to get up for a game because they're so good. LeBron has been to 6 straight NBA finals. How and when are you going to learn? This is just automatic now. If you play on LeBron's team, it's likely you're going to the NBA finals. Their mindset was completely mimicked with J.R. Smith, that moment in the Bucks game. What is he doing? The Bucks and the Cavs come out of a timeout. JR goes over to Jason Terry on the Bucks bench, gives him high five during the play, in play, and the Bucks just dump it off to the Smiths guy he's supposed to be guarding, and there's 2 points. And that's what Giannis Antetokounmpo said. It was part of the Bucks play at the timeout. And they're on a 3-game losing streak. They go to Toronto, who are trending up, tied top of the Eastern Conference. And what happens? The Cavs win again. Raptors, they get close, but not close enough. And finally, today, the Houston Rockets, who I think are one of the best teams in the NBA right now, and thanks to Mike D'Antoni and James Harden. Didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. They went to China for pre-season. Tough start, long trip. Then 14 of their first 20 games have been on the road, and that included 2 5-game road stands. 7 of the next 11 games, though, at home, and that takes us up to Boxing Day, the 26th of December, so they've got a bit of respite now. And James Harden, Mike D'Antoni gave him this point guard role. He's passing the ball. Clint Capella's freed up because Dwight Howard's gone. Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, they took shots, the Rockets did. on those two guys, and so far they've been lights out. Eric Gordon looks like he did back with LA. Ryan Anderson's now starting. He didn't in New Orleans, so that's a good thing for him. And Daryl Morey, the GM in Houston, constantly aggressive. He says, no rebuilding here, thank you very much. James Harden and the Rockets, second best offense in the league right now. I don't see a whole lot of defense, but when did we ever see a whole lot of defense? Mike D'Antoni's Phoenix Suns in the mid-2000s, they should have gone to the NBA Finals at least once, and they didn't play any defense. Trevor Ariza is getting a tough assignment. In the double overtime win over the Golden State Warriors last week, he guarded Durant, Klay, and Steph down the stretch, and he held them scoreless when he was guarding them. And then Patrick Beverley is their defensive cog. He's the guy that really keeps everything together. And when he came back from injury a couple of weeks ago, it meant Eric Gordon could go to the bench, and he can lead that bench unit. So I'm impressed with the Rockets right now. Can they keep it up? That's the key. Can James Harden stay motivated? He has to be playing in the light of Russell Westbrook. He has to make sure he has that role. He controls the team, but in a positive way. And I really think he's benefiting from not having Dwight Howard around.